Johnny Nelson, former cruiserweight champion of the world, all-round nice guy and obviously pundit extraordinaire these days. Johnny, Anthony Joshua was upset last weekend by Andy Ruiz Jr. On a scale of 1 to 10, how surprised were you by the result?
Completely surprised. Especially in the heavyweight division, one punch can change everything. But I've got to admit, you looked at Ruiz and everybody had the same opinion. They looked at him and thought, nah, there's no way this guy can pull it off. Unless you looked in depth, look at his record, look what he did, look at the only guy that beat him on paper, which was Josie Parker. Josie Parker did what, it reminded me of a time when Brendan said to him, I was boxing a guy called Peter Obo, and Brendan said, this guy's a bit of a handful, he can bang, be careful, keep him on the jab, just box him, don't get involved with him. And I can remember boxing him, as he threw a shot just into my chin, hit me in the chest. It was like my chest echoed, and I thought, oh my God, can you imagine if that got me on the chin? So I just kept him long and boxed him long. Ruiz is one of those fighters, you've got to box him long. His feet aren't the greatest, his hands are fast for a short, stocky guy, and he's got a long reach. Parker beat him on points by boxing him. That's what AJ needs to do in their rematch. In the first fight, what AJ did was, he went in for the finish. He had Ruiz down. Mexican is tough, he wants to fight, thinking, all right, I'll have some more of this. So when AJ's dipping down to his level, his size, he's then giving a man a chance that shouldn't have one because he's at a disadvantage. So it was a complete shock because we never expected this from AJ. We thought the only people out there that could do this to him were either Tyson Fury or Deontay Wilder or your Dylan Whites. So for this, I think AJ has had to go back, lick his ring, go back to the drawing board. I think he's conducted himself excellently in regards to after the fight, how he was respectful to Ruiz, and he's thinking, right. I mean, everybody's got all these conspiracy theories, why it happened, why it didn't happen. But the only person that's not said a word is Anthony Joshua, which is good on him. He said, look, the best man won. Regardless of what we think we know, he said, look, the best man won, let's leave it at that.
You talked about him employing the wrong tactics after he'd knocked Ruiz down.
Yeah.
Was that caused by the shot he took, though, that caused the first knockdown? It seemed to discombobulate him, and from that point on, he didn't seem sure of what he was supposed to be doing.
Well, he's going to do what comes natural, which is going for the finish. That's what we're used to seeing, and that's what we're used to seeing him doing. He knows he's got that punch power to take somebody out, step him to take him out, so he went in for that. Now, he's been fighting for 10 years. So you learn some old school tricks as time goes on, and he's still relatively a novice. So look what AJ's achieved in such a short space of time. And to put this still, and he always says, look, I'm not finished learning. You're talking years of old school tactics, old school tricks, tying a man up when he gets inside, knowing when to kimby long, follow your instincts. So AJ didn't have the instincts to think, right, hands up, back off. Instinctively, he did what he does natural, and when he for the finish showed his heart and his ego and followed that because he think this has always worked. This could be a blessing in disguise for AJ, because say for instance this was against Wilder or Fury, then you're thinking, wow, that's answered all the questions. Now we're thinking, was it a mistake? And how will the rematch go? But regardless, mistake or not, he will learn from that. He'll think, right, I'll do this again. Remember, this has happened to Vladimir. It's happened to Lennox Lewis. It's happened to all the greats. It's happened to Ali. So you've got to think to yourself, don't write him off. We can all criticise, we can all say, this is what he did wrong, he's finished this, that and the other. Don't write him off. Now it's a case of how he goes back, licks his wounds and deals with it. How will he learn from this? How will the union between his camp and think, right, this is what we've got to do. And that's when we'll be able to answer all these questions in the rematch.
You mentioned Lennox Lewis there. He suggested that Joshua should change trainers in the aftermath of the defeat. We also had Terence Crawford's trainer, Brian McIntyre, kind of putting himself forward for the job, if you like. Well, what do you make of that?
I don't agree with that. I'm on about loyalty, and I'm on about he's got to stick with what's got. Look at what Rob McCracken's done in such a short space of time. Remember, Anthony Joshua's boxed for 10 years. Look at what he's achieved. Look at what he's amassed in such a short space of time. So all of a sudden, now something's gone wrong. Get rid of your trainer. That don't make sense. Rob McCracken knows him inside out, knows his heart, knows his head, knows his habits, knows his good and bad habits, knows what motivates him. That's somebody that knows him. It's about loyalty. As far as I'm concerned, I would never get rid of Rob McCracken. I may add to the camp, but I'd never get rid of it. So we've got a lot of armchair champions saying you want to do this, that and the other. Great. But to me, I'm not into that. My trainer was the same trainer I had from the beginning all the way through the end. He had a track record of what he'd achieved. My trainer knew me inside out. Rob McCracken knows and has the respect and has the ear of Anthony Joshua. That's the most important thing. Now, if Rob McCracken says, right, we'll bring someone else in to give you some old school tactics, yeah, go for it. Listen to your man. And AJ comes across as a loyal, sensible individual. And so it doesn't matter what Lennox Lewis says. It doesn't matter what anybody says. You know, he's going to do what's best for him and he's going to do what works for him.
We know what AJ needs to do differently in the rematch, which is projected for maybe November, December. You've talked about that. Can Ruiz grow with the title though? Can we expect a better Ruiz in the rematch?
Ruiz will grow massively from that. Because remember, he had a decent amateur pedigree. Only lost one as a professional. How can Ruiz improve? He's got to talk his man into draw him into his kind of fight. Because look, let's be honest, you look at him and think, nah, this is world level, this is soft touch. So it's like, I suppose it's like Tyson Fury. When he gets in with their opponents, they don't respect him because of what he says, how he boxes. He doesn't look beautiful, but he gets the job done. Ruiz is one of those. He's very unassuming, plays a fool to catch your eye, piles you up, can I have a selfie with you, let me hold your belts. He's your best mate until the bell goes. So what Ruiz has to do is make sure he, again, tries to lull Anthony Joshua into his world like he did the last time. And the hardest thing is going to be Anthony Joshua staying composed and cool to say, I'm going to box you. I don't care how easy the shot is. I don't care how easy I can see that shot going. I'm going to box you. And that's what it is. And because the shot's there to be taken, the win is there. But I can't see Ruiz outboxing AJ, but clearly he can outpunch AJ. So it's just about Ruiz going in there with confidence, saying, right, this is what I can do. I am confident enough to try and walk this man down.
Johnny Nelson, thank you.